An affordable housing project in Honolulu is moving forward as planned.
State Housing Agency today gave preliminary approval for $15 million to help build it. KITV4's Diane joins us live in studio tonight. Diane, not everyone is on board, right?
That is correct, Robert. The parcel is currently used to house juvenile offenders, and some neighbors are concerned that the new facility will have more young criminals coming into the area.
In the near future, this acre-and-a-half parcel at 902 Alder Street will look like this. It's a new type of partnership between state agencies. Bottom floors will house up to 12 juvenile offenders. 200 affordable housing units will be above that. The Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation collaborated with the judiciary. Some neighbors are concerned about living next to young lawbreakers.
This has always been an area that has attracted graffiti, homeless people living in their cars. Even some of the cars have graffiti on them. We don't want it to get worse.
Homeless people dot the sidewalks. Chung is worried that's a bad influence for at-risk youth.
Mixing youth offenders with homeless adults living in their car is a known source of criminal risk.
The judiciary defends the shelter as a place where its residents learn to become productive citizens. But Chung points out there are many young people in the community who may be tempted into crime if they befriend juvenile offenders.
The closeness to the Makiki Christian Church preschool, the sharing of the bus stop with youth offenders, convicted offenders, with high school students.
As it turns out, a McKinley High School team was practicing in this court today. The teacher plans to remind his students about stranger danger.
Always to be aware of, strangers that are around or dangers that do come about.
The judiciary says the shelter residents are not dangerous. It says the youth are nonviolent or low-level offenders in for crimes like shoplifting. They stay at the shelter until they can return home or find a safe home. The neighborhood board has no official position on this, but its community action committee is discussing it tonight.
The developer confirms it is set to start construction later this year, with the first tenants moving in the spring of 2021.
Those units would start at just over $600 a month for a studio. The state's housing agency says this is a model it hopes to replicate in the future.
Another concern for Chung is that the young offenders will mix with all of those families moving into those apartments, but the judiciary assures the new shelter will share a common wall with the apartment building, but there will be no access points between those two buildings, and the parking facilities will also be separate. Live in the studio, Diane, KITV4 Island News.
Thank you, Diane.